Hey guys, if you're new to my channel, my name's Hannah and I'm a certified holistic health coach and gut health expert. On my channel, you'll typically find me talking about all of the science-backed and sustainable information that you can put into play today to ditch the digestive distress and get off the diet roller coaster, finally, for good through optimizing your gut health. Today, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 best protein powders for gut health. Let's get into it. Okay, so before we jump on into the exact brands that I use myself and that I recommend to my students, I wanna cover what do I look for in a protein powder, right? So there are 6 things that are really important to me that help me dictate whether I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna use it, and if it's good enough for me to use with my students and if it's gut friendly enough. So the first one is going to be the type of protein. There's whey protein, there's pea protein, there's hemp protein, plant-based, keto, all the things, right? Egg white protein. What I really like to stay away from is egg white protein as well as whey protein. So I'm a fan of either a collagen-based or a plant-based protein, because collagen is really supportive of the gut lining. It can be really helpful when you're trying to repair that gut lining. It's really gut friendly. It's not vegan, however, right? And then we have these plant-based proteins. I'm a fan of the plant-based proteins. These are usually vegan, right? They don't contain any dairy. So I like to stay away from the whey proteins because whey comes from milk, as well as the casein proteins also comes from milk. In my program, we stay away from dairy and we see amazing results with that. It can be really inflammatory for many, many people. So while most of the studies show that whey protein is really extra beneficial when trying to build muscle, it's not my go-to for a gut-friendly protein powder. So I stay away from whey, we stay away from egg white as well. A lot of people have a sensitivity to the egg white protein and aren't really aware of it. Stay away from that one, and we more so lean into the plant-based proteins as well as collagen protein, right? We also want to stay away from soy protein. Not a fan of soy. Most soy is genetically modified. Most people have a very difficult time digesting soy, and soy sneaks into everything that we eat. So the less soy, the better, in my opinion. The number 2 thing that I look for is the sugar content and or the artificial sweetener content. So what we really want to make sure that we stay away from are those artificial sweeteners and high amounts of sugar. So those artificial sweeteners are going to look like Splenda, sucralose, aspartame, right? These things are totally toxic. They were made in a factory. They're they're chemicals. We don't want them in our bodies. Our bodies do not know how to process them. What we also want to look out for is to make sure that the protein powder doesn't have a lot of sugar, right? Because chances are we're adding in this protein powder thinking that we're doing ourselves some good and we're wanting to be healthy. I'm big on blood sugar balance, so we want to make sure that there's not added or extra sugar in this mix. If it's a little bit of coconut sugar and it's like 1 or 2 grams a serving, probably no big deal unless you're dealing with dysbiosis or SIBO or a really strict condition. However, the less sugar, the better, right? So we definitely want it to be under 5 grams, I would say. Better if it's like 0 or 1. If the sugar is coming from added, fruit complexes or something like that have been added into the protein powders, that's a little better as well. But we do want to look out for even things like agave. I'm not a fan of agave. Even things like maple syrup, like these other healthy sweeteners, right? We still want to kind of stay away from those. I'm a big fan of stevia and monk fruit, right? Some people are really sensitive to those sugar alcohols as well. So things like xylitol, right, and maltitol. These aren't going to be good for your gut either. They can really cause bad flare-ups in a lot of people. So take a look in those types of ingredients, those sugar alcohols, anything ending in "all", right? These can be not so good for gut health and cause flare-ups in many, many people. The number 3 thing that I look for is toxic oils. So things like canola oil, vegetable oil, peanut oil, soybean oil. We don't want these slipping into our protein powders, and you'd be surprised at how often they do, right? So these toxic oils, as well as soy formulations, soy lecithin, things like that, and gluten and sugar and corn sneak into everything, right? So we want to be mindful here. I'm mindful of the oils that are being used here. I want to stay away from cottonseed oil, canola oil, what else? Sunflower oil, safflower oil, things like this. Not super supportive. If it's using something like coconut oil, avocado oil, those are going to be more supportive for your gut health. Okay, so the number 5 thing that I look for our taste and texture, right? We want to make sure that this actually tastes good, so we want to use it. We're not just gulping something down that we don't like, and that it's not like super clumpy, that it mixes in well, that you can kind of mix it with like an almond milk on the go. You can blend it into a smoothie. It doesn't have this weird texture going on. For example, like I would be into bone broth protein if it's good and high quality, because it can be beneficial for the gut. But I haven't really found one that I think tastes as good as I want it to, and the texture, I don't love it as much as I do these other ones. So taste and texture are important, right? This will vary from brand to brand and also from like my taste buds to your taste buds, but I've tried basically every protein powder out there, so I do think I've got a decent grasp on the best ones. And finally, the number 6 thing that I look for is price, right? I don't necessarily want to be buying a protein powder that's like $100 every single month to make my smoothie. Am I right? I think that you maybe feel that same way. While there are some incredible ones on the market, once they start to hit, those really high prices, you kind of lose me, to be honest, because I like to do what's the most sustainable, what's the most relatable, and I really like to educate my students with things that they can actually use and put into practice. So for that reason, price is important to me. So I've kind of taken that into account with all of the ones that I'm going to be sharing with you today. Okay, so my number 1 protein powder recommendation is going to be SilverFern brand. I love this brand. I got to speak with the owner, with the head nutritionist of this brand a few months back, and I was really wowed by the passion that she had for the business and her education. So I really like SilverFern brand's protein. It has just a handful of ingredients. It has a solid amount of protein. I believe it's around 20 grams. No sugar, sweetened with monk fruit, right? So we've got no blood sugar bump. We've got no sugar feeding the bad bacteria in the gut. It's totally dairy-free. It's organic as well, so we've got no pesticides going on here. Super important. No toxic oils, no fillers, nothing like that. And it tastes amazing, and it mixes super easy, and I think it's around $35 for the amount of servings in the tub, which is a pretty good price point. SilverFern also has an additional probiotic in it, as well as a digestive enzyme in the protein powder itself, which can be just a little extra help for gut health. So this is why this one is coming in at my number 1 favorite protein powder. And I'm gonna be linking all of these protein powders that we talk about below in the description of this video with links. So if you want to, you can click on the link and get this protein powder that I recommend as well. My number 2 favorite protein powder is gonna be Nuzest. I love the chocolate and I love the vanilla that they have. Nuzest is 100% plant-based. It's made from pea protein. It contains all essential amino acids. Each serving has about 20 grams of protein and 0 grams of sugar. And I think there's 3 ingredients in this protein powder, which I love. They're also super dedicated to quality. And plant-based protein powders tend to have higher levels of heavy metals because these heavy metals come from the soil that the plants grow in, right? And then in a protein powder, we're kind of like compacting these plants so they can contain a higher amount of heavy metals in them. And Nuzest has some really good information on their site that they have tested this, that the peas that they use are lower in heavy metals. So it's one of my favorite brands, and it mixes really easily. It tastes amazing. The vanilla literally tastes like cake. And the price point is pretty solid as well, because I think each tub gets about like 20 servings. So it's a pretty good product. I love to use the Nuzest protein powder in my no-bake protein balls that are in the hand cookbook. We'll put a link to the cookbook in the description of this video below. This cookbook is amazing, and these no-bake protein balls are like a staple in my diet. They only use about 5 ingredients. They're totally gut-friendly. They are grain-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, all the goods. They're high in protein, fiber, and healthy fats. So they're that perfect snack that you need in between like lunch and dinner, or breakfast and lunch, or if you're headed out somewhere and you need to kind of like pop something so you don't show up to the party starving, right? These are the perfect answer for that, and they also make an amazing dessert. So I love to use the Nuzest vanilla protein powder in these protein balls, and I'll make sure that we link the Nuzest protein powder in the description of this video below, and we'll link that hand cookbook there for you too. Number 3 on my favorite list is gonna be Primal Kitchen's Collagen Fuel. So once again, this uses collagen as the form of protein, so it's really gut friendly. It contains coconut milk powder. Coconut milk is a beautiful source of healthy fats. It's got no toxic oils, it's got 0 grams of sugar, it's sweetened with monk fruit. It's got a decent amount of protein per serving. It mixes, it's a little more difficult to mix, so just make sure that you mix it well, but if you're throwing it in a blender, you're gonna be good to go, and the taste is pretty spot on. They have a chocolate coconut that's really, really yummy, but no dairy, no soy, no gluten, none of that, none of those bad oils, and it's pretty freaking good. It only contains, I think, like around 5 ingredients on the back of the label, so that's awesome too. Number 4 on my favorite protein powder list is gonna be Tone It Up's organic protein. So big word here is organic. Not all protein powders are organic, so that's why I really love this one. The taste is spot on, it mixes really easily, it's totally gluten-free, it's totally plant-based, vegan for anyone out there that's vegan. It has minimal ingredients, I think 0 grams of sugar, it's sweetened with stevia, and like I said, the taste is on, the price is pretty good for what you get as well, but it has no soy, no corn, no dairy, no gluten, none of that madness that tends to slip into all of these other ones. So this is another reason why this protein powder makes the list. It's really good, and I think it contains around 15 grams of protein per serving, which is a pretty solid dose. You'll find in my hand morning power smoothie formula, I like for you guys to get around 20 grams of protein to start off with, because protein helps turn off some of our satiety hormones. It's gonna help us feel full. It also promotes, good muscle growth, and protein is so good for our skin and for our hormones and all of these other things, right? But many of us need around 20 grams of protein, so then we finally feel full and can actually make it to lunch, right? So if you want to grab that formula for the Hand Morning Power Smoothie, make sure to download my free 3-day gut reset below. It's linked in the description of this video. It really maps out this entire smoothie formula for you, and you get amazing recipes for it. And one of the protein powders that I love to use in this formula is, well, all of these on this list, but including this Tone It Up protein here. Number 5 on my list is gonna be a protein powder by Designs for Health. So I really like Designs for Health because it's really a medical grade company. They also make supplements that are super high quality. And if you know anything about my work, you know that I'm big on getting the right kinds of supplements, preferably medical grade, because the supplement industry is not regulated. So we don't really know what can kind of come on into these supplements. So I really like Designs for Health for that reason, but also this protein powder, it uses peas, so it's totally vegan. It has 20 grams of protein per serving, right? The peas that are used are non-GMO. Pea protein is typically pretty easy to digest for most people as well, so you're not getting any friction or abrasion when you're trying to digest it, therefore it's good for gut health, right? And this brand and this protein powder here contains around 5 ingredients as well, so super minimal, 0 grams of sugar, sweetened with stevia, no toxic oils, and none of that kind of stuff. So this is why it's one of my favorite recommendations as well. And then I had to throw in a number 6, a bonus, right? So number 6 for me would come in at Orgain's organic plant-based protein. This is one that I use myself. It does have a few more ingredients than I would like, and I believe it contains sunflower lecithin, which I'm not a huge fan of. But with that being said, I like this one because it's organic, so we've got no pesticides. It tastes amazing, right? It doesn't contain sugar. I believe it's sweetened with stevia and or monk fruit, and it's available at Costco now, and it's a super great price. So once again, I'm big into sustainability and relatability, and this is one that a lot of my students are able to grab with ease because they can find it at Costco and you can get a huge amount of it at once, right? And it tastes amazing. So this is one that I find myself using as well for those reasons, because it's pretty easy, right? So it's not that we should cop out and make all of this just take the easiest route, but it is important to kind of keep some of these things in mind when we're talking about all of this, because if you start making this smoothie and you start making it every morning, right, this is something that you're now adding to your grocery list month after month after month. So I want to make sure that you feel as well supported in that decision as you can. But the hand morning power smoothie will literally change your life for the better. It's gonna help you stay full longer. It's gonna promote gut proliferation, aka like we're kind of breeding those good gut bacteria that are so important to our health. It's full of fiber, it's full of healthy fats, really great for your brain, really great for your skin and your hormones. It's got all the goods, and if you haven't tried it out yet, make sure to hop on my free 3-day gut reset below this video. You'll find it in the description. This thing will change your life. You will start to shift the really environment of your gut microbiome in as little as 3 days. Yes, 3 days with targeted meals. No fasting, no starving, no juice cleanses here. That's not the game that I play. I like sustainability, I like relatability, and I like things that we can actually do because they only work if we actually do them. So make sure to check that out below this video. And if you have any questions on any of the protein powders that I discussed, make sure to leave a comment in the comments. It's a great place to connect with me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.